boop, 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 boop. What's going on, YouTube? What's good? This is your captain speaking, Spanx Calhoun. You're on the lifeboat. Thanks for showing up. How is everyone today, huh? Thursday? It is Thursday. Sandy, Wandy, Plant Freak, Jason P., Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. What's going on? Rolling Stone. Hope you're feeling all right. Shannon Smith, welcome in. Welcome in. Davey, Layla Bradley, Lori Abs. What's going on? Welcome in, guys. It has been an interesting day. It has definitely been interesting. It's been quite overcast, but still quite hot. And I had originally planned to do a show on masculinity to this evening, but it did not pan out. It's going to require, I think, much more work. So I decided to do Plan B, which is harm reduction. Never a bad topic, especially I got a ton of emails and comments about kratom and success stories. And I just want to, reiterate, we are an anti-addiction channel, not an anti-drug channel. And I think that that's fantastic. If you've traded dope for kratom, you're winning. That is a big win. I just wanted to make sure that I had came on here and said that again. Using improper grammar, but that's all right. We'll get to it. What is going on? Body Illusion, welcome in. Kristen, hello. All right. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference for us. Dawn Gloves, welcome in. Better Bacon Bureau, of course. Casey. And that might be what that is. I just assumed it was overcast, but it does smell kind of smoky now that you mention it. Now that I think about it, that very well may be what's going on. I didn't know Central Arizona was on fire. Is it contained or is it wild? ASAP Lizzie, what's going on? Good to see you. I just now poured, just before hitting the button to go live, poured this cup of tea. So I hope it cools off quickly. I'm pretty thirsty. Margie Barr, I do not know if they've made it to Nashville or not. I don't know what time they headed out this morning, but when you're driving a regular car that's not filled with moving truck stuff, the GPS told me it would take 10 hours to get from Kansas City to Tennessee. I didn't type in the specific city, and I didn't, account for driving a moving truck. So they could still be in transit. They could be there. Theoretically, right, they should be arriving or have been arrived recently, I imagine. I imagine they'll also let us know as soon as they have the energy to do so. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Reese to be in her new place. I'm really excited at the prospect of my dad coming home soon. Come back to West Admiral. No, I'm just, I'm really excited for all that to be behind them, and Reese to have the, the space and the, the life that she deserves, one where she's loved and respected adequately. No sweat, Kathy. We're glad you're here. Baby bedtime soon. What a peaceful time that follows baby bedtime. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm not a father. I don't really know. Not available. What is going on? Welcome in, friend. Good to see you again. Not available. Says I am sidetracked searching. Changed the name for other means. We're glad you're back. We are glad you're back. I was wondering about you the past couple days. Good to see you. Yeah, I tell you what, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Ready for them to get into the next chapter. But yeah, we'll talk about harm reduction a little bit today for sure. I look forward to one day either having babies or not having babies. Like one of the two. Make up your mind already, Not getting any younger. Post baby bedtime is the closest to peace I get, says Kathy. And fantastic. You deserve the peace. How old's your little one, if you don't mind me asking, Kathy? I live for now. ASAP Lizzie, welcome in, welcome in. Jason P, for some reason, I feel like I didn't say hello to you today. I feel like that's obviously, that can't be true, right? But, just in case, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Absolutely, Margie. It's my pleasure to answer. Yeah, I've been interacting a lot more with you guys. I've been doing a lot more comment and email stuff, and it has been mighty rewarding, I have to say. Hearing all the success stories from Kratom, like people that had traded dope for Kratom, people that just like nothing short of life-changing accounts of experience, strength and hope. I can't tell you how much that warms me up and how rewarding that is to get that feedback, because that wasn't necessarily the message that I put out with that video, right? And I have to say, maybe I was a little heavy-handed with the settlement discussion, the settlement case that had happened, but I may have been heavy-handed with that. The big picture is really what we're trying to deal with here, right? So if you're a heroin addict or an oxycodone user, and you switch that up for kratom, you're big win. I can't understate that. We bust out the trophy in those circumstances, right? And this is about harm reduction. It's about improvement, even if it's in small ways, right? Minimizing negative consequences, right? So through that lens, kratom's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. I felt obligated to come back on here and say these things after reading all the success stories, because I felt like I didn't do a good job of representing exactly what I wanted to say. I kind of got hung up on the FDA thing, and someone brought it to my attention that the FDA approves OxyContin. You know what I mean? So that is a very good juxtaposition to bring up, a very nice counter argument, because we all know how OxyContin turned out. So Captain Spanks checking in. What's going on, buddy's dad? Conroe, Texas. Much love. Much love, much love. Glad you're here. Christy Hughes, thank you so much. Lemon Character and Baby Lemon blowing a party horn while marching. Oh, those must be the stickers. Those must be the stickers. I imagined them in my head. It won't show me here. I wonder if it's in... There it is. Okay. That's why you have the pop-up chat, Mike. That might be a little too loud. I have to say, consistency in volume is not a thing. None of the fire, which has burned 6 structures, has been contained 3 hours ago. Wow. I wonder how big it is. I wonder how big it is. That's a little scary. Are we central? We're like northeast, aren't we? We're like north central or something like that. I guess I could just look at a map and educate myself, but since we're talking about it. Thank you, Christy. You're so sweet. I'm so glad that you're a part of our crew. I'm so grateful to have it. Honestly, every single one of you. You guys are the best crew that a captain could ask for. I definitely did not see myself sitting here. If you asked me what I thought I would be doing 5 years from now, 5 years ago, I would not. There's no way I would have said this. But I'm grateful every single day. I count my blessings, because this is definitely what my life has been missing. This has changed. This has changed my life for the better in so many ways. So many ways. So many ways. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about harm reduction after I read about this fire. 166 acres, US 60 still closed. Good Lord. When I was in high school, one of my neighbors, one of my buds, was a freshman in college when I was a freshman in high school, and he used to go out and fight wildland firefighters. And the stories he would tell were so outrageous. They just sounded like the gnarliest stuff, the craziest, most gnarliest firefighting adventures of all time. Of course, he made it sound funny, but I'm sure that it was absolutely ridiculous. I can't imagine fighting a fire like that, out there with like a bunch of other dudes just like running hose, and I don't know, it sounds wild. I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for anything, Christy. Christy says it's awesome being sober today. I love this family. All right, let's talk about some harm reduction before I get too relaxed here. So harm reduction is about many things. Meeting people where they are is something we talk about a lot on this channel. Meeting people where they're at. Like, this is a very complex issue. People are very complex beings, right? And their behaviors. Okay, so this is an approach without moral judgment. No matter who you are, where you're at, what you're doing, we shouldn't need to label people, things, behaviors as good or bad. We should just be able to meet people where they're at, and harm reduction, and like increase quality of life and reduce harm, right? And I think that's key. That is key to battling addiction and to live in a better life, especially in today's world where we're all so disconnected. You got to have an open mind. You got to have an open mind, and you got to be willing. And I think harm reduction aligns with those values very well. Acknowledging that we're complicated, and that there's a lot of things that influence us and influence our behaviors, right? But there's not a one-size-fits-all solution to this, and it's not a race. You get to the finish line. There's still work to be done. It's a marathon. We're going to keep doing the thing. And at the end of the day, when you get to the end of the line and you're sitting pretty, the monkey's off your back. In order to keep it off your back, you're going to have to give this gift to someone else. You're going to have to. I think that's something that the 12 steps do very, very well. It doesn't have to be super complicated. If you're willing, you got an open mind. And I'm going to say willing again, but as a third point, if you're willing to give what you were given so freely back to others, I think those three things are really all you need. We can fill our toolkit with all kinds of stuff to bust out when the chips are down. We can talk ad nauseum about, certain specific drugs and specific details about them, specific strategies, which are all great. That's all great. But at the end of the day, if you're not willing, you don't have an open mind. And if you don't share what you learn, you can't keep it either, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't have those three things, it's probably not going to work. So I think that's neat. It's funny. I put in my notes, bitch about advertisements for a bit. I can't remember why I wrote that. I had a specific thought about advertisements, and I have no idea. I don't like advertisements. I think that they're irritating. Everywhere you go. Oh, we were talking about how lots of things influence behavior. In today's world, there's billboards, there's commercials on your TV, there's ads on YouTube, right? No matter where you go, someone is vying for your attention and your dollar all the time. You can't help it. It's just forced upon you, right? So I figured I would take this moment to grumble about that. I hate that. I hate that a lot. I wish that wasn't the case. The best part about vacation is the lack of advertisements, in my opinion. Going out camping, no advertisements. Well, I guess that's not true. You see labels and names of things still, but it's a lot better than candy at checkouts. That's right, Bunny C. How often do they just get you because the candy's sitting right there at the end of the line? Every time, I feel like. Although my bad teeth stops me from buying gummies and chocolate a lot these days. Grumble, 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 grumble. Oh, let's have some of this tea. I saw something I wanted to respond to. I'm going to scroll up. Timbre June, what's going on? Lord Kiss Freak. I haven't vaped in a couple days. I will say I did have a little bit of tobacco, but I'm intaking far less nicotine. I think I've had, let's be honest, I've had 2 cigarettes in the last 2 days, so that's not bad, right? I don't know why I did that. I convinced myself that I was going to smoke cigarettes while camping on vacation, which is stupid because I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, right? But I guess I do now. But I also had convinced myself I don't want to vape anymore. So I threw that away because it started to make me feel sick. So I don't know if that's a move upwards or downwards or laterally or what, but I'm not going to get hung up on it. And I'm going to, make sure that I don't pick that habit back up. Check this out. If I come back from that camping trip and I confess that I'm now smoking cigarettes, you guys need to whoop my butt. Okay. That is not on the table. That's not an option. We're not going to be going in. I did get organic. What's it called? Got the black American Spirits. So it's preservative-less and I believe organic, the black and the turquoise, or maybe the black's not organic. Maybe it's just preservative-less. I know the turquoise is allegedly organic, but I definitely tried to buy the as nice as possible, but I need to stop putting hot stuff in my lungs, period. I'm just having some, that addiction's having some death throes for sure. I would like to abstain 100% when I come back from Salt Lake. That's my plan. And I know you guys won't judge me, Bunny C. I appreciate it. Sometimes I think, that everything's working out and, everything's going to be easy. But at the end of the day, these things are hard. And it still doesn't feel comfortable when I don't fully succeed. You know what I mean? When I have little stumbles or failures, it still sucks. And it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm only human, It is what it is. 2 cigarettes is way better than I wonder how many times I hit that vape every day because it's literally attached to my hand, in bed. I'm taking a nap, hitting it. What is that? That's bad, right? Having a couple cigarettes is not the end of the day, end of the world. But, I also feel like harm reduction can be construed as like it's so easy for us to convince ourselves to like get off the wagon, right? It's so easy for us to convince ourselves X, Y, Z. I think we need to be careful with the harm reduction thing too. Like as long as we are reducing harm, it's a good thing, right? It's a win. But be aware that, we have very little, especially if we're a true addict and a true alcoholic or whatever the case may be, we have very little power over these things, so it's easy to find yourself in a crappy situation. But often we're dealing with substances of greater weight, right? More serious substances. So, I don't know. It's a complicated, in-depth issue, as are humans, as is addiction. And that's why we come here to talk about it. Maybe we can break it down a little and see what y'all are saying. Yeah, my mom was a heroin addict my whole life or whatever, right? She's been clean 10 plus years now. She told me that quitting cigarettes was the hardest thing she ever did. And that like speaks volumes to me. The fact that, after all we went through, cigarettes was the hardest. Like, wow, that says a whole lot, I feel like. Good luck, Kathy. We'll see you back. We'll see you later. Brazy girl, what's going on? Hi, LEJ. Do I remember what was going through my head when I went for the tobacco or cigs? I was having a nicotine craving and I didn't want to fish my vape out of the trash because I knew that when I made that decision, I had conviction. Like the feeling that I was feeling in my chest, the mental state that I was in, like the whole combination of like what I was experiencing in the moment that I threw the vape away, I knew it wasn't wrong. It was true. And there's no way I can like convince myself that that wasn't real, right? So instead of, getting another vape or caving, I caved in some way, right? I convinced myself that, I'm going to have a little bit of tobacco to satisfy this craving, but I'm also, going to have some tobacco while I'm camping, right? So it's okay. It's not like I'm just wasting money. It's not like I'm backtracking, right? We'll call it a vacation pack or something. I convinced myself that it was okay to answer that question, LEJ. And Kristen, I haven't returned to a half a pack a day, but like, what if I do, right? That's a thought that I'm having now. I haven't had a cigarette in a year and 3 months as of 2 days ago, but I had one yesterday and I had one today. So, you know, I smoked for 15 plus years, a pack a day, pack plus a day. And when I made the decision to quit smoking cigarettes, it was like super important to me. It was important for my health. It enabled me to get to where I am today, most likely. So it's important. It's still important to me. And I need not forget that. Smelled the smell and was right back there. It's such a smell too, Timbre, isn't it? It's such a smell too. I'm glad that you're here talking about it. Oh, that reminds me. I was talking about all the comments and emails we got about kratom and success stories and just all the discussion we got after that video. That's so great. That is what I'm shooting for. I would like to encourage interaction, connection, communication, conversation as much as possible. If there's anyone else out there that has experience, that has a story to tell, involving kratom, involving Delta 8, involving any of the stuff that we talk about, please come forth and share your experience. Whether it's in the email, sober@myyahoo.com, whether it's in the comments, whether it's in the chat, I want to know. And I'm sure that there are people out there that can benefit from your story. And remember, when we're sharing experience, it's only experience. This is not advice. We're not doctors or whatever, right? But that's all we have to share is our experience. So I think it's really important that we do. I think it's really important that we do. And I will be able to get to some in the chat, right? And if I miss you, like I said, post it in the comments, email me. I would like to interact more. I know that we do a lot of interacting, but we're going in a good direction, and we just need to keep at it, is I guess where that's coming from. What is one of the mainstays of At the Lifeboat? Nobody strong enough to come here should ever feel judged, attacked, disgraced, left out. If anyone ever fails that way, speak up, it will be addressed. I absolutely agree. Awakened by the Looking Glass, reflection. And I hope I never fail at this, but I'm only human, right? If I make mistakes, please call me out. Because I only intend to ever cultivate welcoming, non-judgmental atmosphere, all right? But also, I'm pretty sure I'm doing quite a mighty fine job of that, so. The cigarette sanitarium, I would have to agree. Part of me holds shame, I feel like, for picking cigs back up. Something for me to journal about for sure. I do journal like my dad does, Bunny. I'm actually, I got my stuff right here. I've been journaling a ton. I can relate with that, Timbre June. I tell you what. Something triggers those memories of forced use addiction. There's nothing quite like it. There's nothing quite like it. I'm glad you're here again. I'm so glad you're here, Timbre. $20 a day. Oh my, Ben was eating 20 nicotine lozenges a day. I'm not judging you. That's just comical, isn't it? I mean, I think that I'm really glad you're not doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously not necessarily the best thing ever. Told me I want to go back on like 1 a day in 3 weeks. Interesting. Well, in small dosages, nicotine's not all that bad for you. Research indicates that it may even lengthen your life a little bit. But I think it's also important to note that nicotine was originally insecticide. It was bug killer. And I think it's also worthy of note that, one of the dangers that I've heard medically from nicotine, prolonged heavy nicotine use, it's like the hardening of the arteries or the capillaries or something like that. That sounds terrible. That sounds like it's going to be really, really hard to breathe, and it's going to be really hard to walk around and move and stuff. Lori Driscoll, welcome in, welcome in. I'm glad you made it. Ooh, this tea is so good. It's probably ready. Oh no, Brianna, I've been so far up in the chat. Well, I tell you what, I'll give you some nicotine knowledge too, but I feel like this may be a stumble, right? But like you made off like a bandit. I feel like you only smoked a halfie, like went back inside. You have a knowledge, a head full of knowledge and a belly full of recovery. You know what I mean? You've been really thinking about this, working on it hard. I don't think that this is for certain not like all of that work gone out the window, right? That's not what this is. You know, I think that you're still doing a great job, obviously, and you obviously care. I think that your success is inevitable, Brianna. I'm going to scroll down real quick and make sure I didn't miss another message from you. But you know, and this also is this happens to a lot of us. It's very common for us to stumble. Nicotine, so check this out. Some tricks that I've picked up and been told over the years, especially with nicotine, I feel like it's such a powerful addiction. We really need to use all the tools at our disposal that is possible, right? So I've heard that it takes 10 minutes for nicotine to hit your bloodstream for your body to feel the effects of nicotine. So if you take a drag or two, right? I can never just take one. I feel like I have to take a couple. If you take 2 drags, put that sucker out, wait 10 minutes, you won't be craving it anymore. I guarantee it. I thought that was a very interesting piece of information when I first learned it. Also, sometimes when I first, I don't know if I should lead into that way. I also will try to push the limits. If I'm trying to cut back, I will, if I am getting a craving, I'll look at the clock and tell myself, not right now, not right now. And I'll wait. Like I won't allow myself to cave immediately. I will have to feel that irritation, that lack of nicotine, right? That craving. I try to force myself to not just cave, because what happens is I'll end up having more and more and more and more and more. Before you know it, I'm chain smoking. I'm smoking more than one cigarette in a sitting. Smoking a bunch of cigarettes in a sitting. Maybe I'm smoking cigarettes until I'm like physically sick, which is where I will end up. That's where I was when I quit. I would just smoke until I physically couldn't. So yeah, keep fighting the good fight, Brianna. Smoking a halfie is, as far as I'm concerned, that's harm reduction compared to what you were doing, right? I've had the most success with quitting nicotine as well, like just cold turkey, making the decision, stomping my foot, like no more, because I'll have that drive, right? I'll have that feeling of indomitability, like this is the moment, I'm doing it. But that feeling quickly passes. As soon as the craving comes, that feeling is forgotten. So if I can empower that emotion, that moment, as much as possible, imprint that emotion on my brain as effectively as possible, remember it and carry that with me, that's the most effective I've ever been with quitting cigarettes. I did replace it with vapes, so I don't know exactly how effective I was, right? I traded cigarettes for nicotine, which I think I'm trading up, but the way I was using the vape at the end of the day, I don't think was very good. Christy, I think about that sometimes, but at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like vulnerability is a strength. It's like an invitation for people to also be vulnerable, to communicate, to talk about things that are hard to talk about, right? I do think about that sometimes. I'm afraid of people reading my journal, but I mean, there's really nothing in here. talked with my friend all night. I guess they could get specific names of my friends and stuff, right? Reached out to what's his face, got a response, slight headache, wonder about my friend. I just it's like my innermost thoughts. So I guess from that standpoint, like maybe it could be uncomfortable, but I personally know there's nothing on this page that's worth reading. I have a pretty decent memory too. If it was like a random page in here, maybe I'd be a little nervous, like, oh, I wonder what's written there. But at the same time, like I have this voice that in my head immediately says, like, you have nothing to be afraid of. You're like not doing anything wrong, Michael, So I try to remind myself that sometimes that fear of people reading my journal is just my like existential fear that has no ground or basis. It's like the fear of not being able to pay the rent. I mean, I guess that has basis. I don't know what I was trying to say with that, but I try not to fear things that can't really hurt me, Christy? And I feel like someone reading what's in my journal is just not actually going to hurt me. It's just like in my mind, it might be uncomfortable, I don't know. It's a great question. I'm really glad you asked me that. EFT tapping, what's that? Like when my dad talks about like banging his chest and stuff. Rolling Stone says, it doesn't matter if it's food, smoke, or drink. I go from addiction to addiction. Once I get that giant monkey off my back, I almost don't know who I'll be, but I'm going to heal. You know what, Rolling Stone? That is really cool. I can relate with that first half, from addiction to addiction to addiction. I was actually thinking about this today. Like, why do we, as humans, I feel the need to augment our mind state? Even people that like don't have a problem with alcohol, like maybe they're just a casual drinker, they enjoy having beers or something, right? Like, why do we, as a race of people, as humans, enjoy changing the way our brain is working temporarily so much? Like it's a thing, from addiction to addiction, right? From substance to substance. And once you get that giant monkey off your back, I'm super stoked to find out who you're going to be. That's how I feel. And damn right, you're definitely going to heal. I'm super stoked about it, Rolling Stone. I'm super stoked about it. You're heading in a great direction. The tea is the citron ginger. Pardon me, there's no gingers. Honey, citron, mango. I can relate with that sanitarium. I tell you what, I still don't feel like I have all of my, like I feel better every day. The other day I had like a aha moment, right? Which is really cool. But I definitely, where'd that go? Numbing out your emotions for however long we did, right? And then coming from that to being like super like vulnerable, not having what I've been covering it up with anymore, not knowing how to process my own emotions, not knowing what to do with them anymore. Like that is the most uncomfortable thing. And the only cure for it really is time. You really just got to put some time between you and whatever the alcohol, the drug of choice, right? Just got to practice. Practice makes perfect, learning how to deal with our emotions. Because that's in essence what we're doing by using is not dealing with our emotions, right? I don't know if I'm ready to discuss generational curses, Franklin, but I am very curious now. Maybe email me about it and we can have our own little discussion about it because now I'm so curious. It's up only if you want to. Only if you want to. Good to see you, Franklin. It's been a hot minute. I'm glad you're here. Kristen says, seems like humans have been trying to get high since they found out eating a funny plant made you feel funny. Sounds about right. During EFT, individuals tap certain points on their bodies similar to the points used during acupuncture. Interesting. No, I haven't tried that, timbre. All this reading the word cold turkey over and over. I'm getting so hungry. I just could like go for a turkey sandwich pretty hard right now. I love turkey. Turkey's good. Interesting. Awakened. It all started with that first little heel prick we received just after our first breath. Yeah, they made it taste like fruit and delicious things. Like on one hand, like that's cool. I don't have to taste a gross cigarette anymore. But on the other hand, it's like, how am I gonna put down my fruity, delicious nicotine, that I'm now like double fisting all the time. I feel like it was a trade up in the beginning, but I allowed the vape to get way out of hand, I feel like. I am I'm I'm kind of on the fence. I have friends that do this. I have friends that have done this to me in pinch situations where I was like injured and I needed to perform, and then like it worked. So like I feel like I don't understand it at all, and I'm willing to believe with an open mind. You know what I mean? Especially like someone that's close to me, I don't need to understand, And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this world that I probably don't understand and may never understand. So I accept that. I don't know much about it at all, though. Rolling Stone, energy healing, like Reiki and whatnot. I'm not opposed to the idea of it, and if uh, if it is real, it's been used on me to great effect. Damn, seventh. I quit when cigarettes went from 70 cents to $1 back in the mid 80s. I wish that's how much I spent on that pack. It was like 15 times that. It's like $14 and change or something, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. 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 I remember when they were $5. I remember that when I first started smoking, they were $5. You could get number 27s for like $4 and change. When food is love. Interesting. I feel like I'm going to make spaghetti meatball for dinner again, but I'm not excited about it. It's like I just had that. Maybe I'll just focus on trying to not overcook the noodles and straining it properly. And then it'll be a better version of the same thing. And that'll be exciting. Maybe that's enough. It doesn't have to be exciting. It just has to nourish me. Nourish a thug, Given the spectrum of addictions and prevalence of smoking in those with mental illness, banning vaping, which they are doing here, is pretty harsh. Where's that at? Not available? That sounds not wise. I was doing a lot of research on, well, I don't know if that's fair to say. I learned a lot about Canada's laws and some stuff going on in the Canada legislature these days. I wish I had written some of it down, but I was just so happy to silently absorb the information. I was watching Dr. Jordan B. Peterson on some panels talk about human rights issues and freedom of speech, which I guess Canada doesn't have very good First Amendment protections. And they're, according to Mr. Peterson, they're suffering for it now. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what the laws are there, but I did, listen to some speeches and some discussion today about what was it. I think the hearing itself was about January 6th, which I think is totally distracting from the issue at hand, which is that something about AI and government, basically corporations and government colluding together to get all your information or something. That wasn't the one I wanted to talk about, though. What was the other Jordan Peterson thing I had read? They don't allow you to vape in Australia, but they force the jab. Yeah, that's pretty wild, Franklin. Super grateful. They didn't force me to have an experimental. Like it's the fact that they called it a vaccine, I think, is a travesty. Vaccines are made over many years, over with research. And what if you? I don't know. And I'm not gonna. That's like such a divisive issue. I think that that was a huge mistake, and I bet you, I would be willing to bet the people that made that decision have a different opinion about it today than the day that they made it. Unless they're heartless, reptilian, I don't know, maybe they're just old and money hungry and they don't have empathy, but I feel like that also is a possibility. Freedom Convoy. Freedom Convoy. Catalina. I also heard that tobacco in other countries is like fundamentally different. I've heard that the way that we process and treat tobacco and sell it in this country is terrible. But I've never been somewhere else or had tobacco from somewhere else to like compare it. I heard that European cigarettes are like just better for you. Even is that anyone in the across the pond want to weigh in on this? Like, is there truth to that, or is that just like the grass is greener kind of thing? Sorry about that. Ooh, gross. Seventh is in here somewhere, Lord Kiss Freak. He was just telling us how he quit when they went from 70 cents a pack to $1 a pack back in the 80s. Making me jealous. There he is. There he is, my lord. Shall I retrieve him? Canadian cigarettes are way better, says Rolling Stone. Du Maurier? I want to learn French. I saw some French words. Maybe it was probably on that video I was watching with the Canada legislature. They had like English and French subtitles. French is a beautiful language to read, and like I don't think I was reading it properly. I can't read French, but the way I think that it sounded out in my head was just oof. I liked it. I liked it a lot. What's going on, Zaphod? Dr. Gabor Mate. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I adore that person. I'm saying their name way wrong. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Zaphod. I had forgotten that this person existed, and I can't remember what I have watched about them, but I remember that I adore this doctor. I'm going to have to go check it out. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if I've done any irreparable damage to my reputation now. You know, I really need to think before I speak sometimes. But I'm so passionate. It blows my mind. It's hard. I think one of the hardest things that we run into as a society is that there's so many of us on the planet, in North America, just in the US, just in Canada, just in Australia, there's just so many humans. And we all have our own beliefs. We all have our own experiences, very unique, right? We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. And we're trying for some reason to all agree. You know, we're trying to like see eye to eye, which is never going to happen, right? Would you undermine the unique strengths of your fellows just for equality, which by the way is a social construct? Like, are we actually equal? Like, our hair is different lengths. Is that equal? You know what I mean? Like, I speak all right. Is that equal? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that we all are unique, and that's beautiful. I think we all have our talents. We all have our passions. Those things are different. And I don't think that equality is real. I think that, I mean, look, if we were all equality, have y'all seen that South Park episode where the people come from the future or something to take the jobs and they're all the same? They all look exactly the same and they do exactly the same thing and no one's smart. There's a book about this too. I have it somewhere. I think it's right over here. Return from the Stars. Is that what it's called? It's like a time dilation story about an astronaut coming back to Earth, and like all this time has passed and now everyone's equal, but everyone's dumb because of it. Anyways, equality. Think about what that actually means, right? I think that there's a whole bunch of stuff that gets lost in translation because there's so many of us and we forget that we're beautifully, wonderfully, absolutely, gratefully unique, different, not equal. Like, it's a beautiful idea on paper, right? Like, oh, we all get the same treatment where it's all great, it's all good, but it's not all good. Some stuff's bad, you know? And without the bad, we can't have the good. So we can't have equality. It's not. What that is control. That's control over your life. That's someone else having control over your mind. That's someone living rent free up top. We just lost some watchers on that statement, but whatever. It's true. It's facts. Facts. Tank time. What do you guys think? Is Brazy in here? Where's my girl at? Oh, I see her. There she is. I hope that's okay for me to say. That was on the back of passion. I just felt so good. I was like, I'm going to say this. I don't ever mean to cross any boundaries. I hope that was okay. Crazy girl, you know it's tank time. That's tea and it's not tink. Good night, Day B. Much love. Chug it, says Lord Kiss Freak. Jacked up. Tommy Tink. Just so everyone knows, I feel like I've been getting questions about this more, which is good because I don't want it to be misunderstood. This is capsaicin. Pure capsaicin, which capsaicin is the oil inside peppers that makes your tongue spicy. So this is pure. What's in this one? I always forget. Orange ghost peppers and Moruga scorpion peppers. And this one says jacked up on it because it has capsaicin crystals in it. So like pure distilled, like this one's really, really spicy, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Some chili heads got together in a mad science frenzy and made this. Can't tell how much that was, but it was more than 2. It was at least 2. Fat drops. Ooh. Ow. Burns a long time, Franklin. Chasin Dahit. Thought you were my uncle for a second. I got so excited. What's going on, Cinderella's glass slipper? Welcome in. Okay, immediately to a 5 and going up. I taste a 6. Oh, do we have a 7? Going once, going twice. Wow, that's a good one. I must have done more than 2 drops. I think we level out at 7. Let's give it a second and see what happens. I think I leveled out at like a 7 though. I can feel it like behind my ears. I don't know if you guys ever get that one, or like in your lymph nodes. My hair, I don't know, guys. You guys think I should do the undercut? Or should I stick to my guns and like I'm almost there? It's just so awkward right now. If I had just washed it, I wouldn't be second guessing it. So maybe I just need to stick to my guns. If I had just washed my hair, it wouldn't bother me not one bit. So maybe I should stick to my guns. It bothers the crap out of me, though. I tell you what, how am I supposed to attract a mate when I've got Bozo the clown hair going on, you know? You know, the hiccups, the capsaicin hiccups, Franklin, are my least favorite thing. One of my least favorite things in the whole world, but definitely my least favorite part of the, even next to the cap cramps, the fire hole, the hiccups are my least favorite. Because it's like a very unique, different sort of hiccup. It's not pleasant. Catalina says, let it grow. Following along with some Thai super hot F1 peppers in my tuna sandwich, Izzy E. Wow. I want to have a super hot tuna sandwich now. That sounds so great. I have some tunas, but no super hots. Damn, sushi sounds good. Maybe I'll have to get some sushi while I'm in Salt Lake. The thing is, both Arizona and Salt Lake are landlocked. I just know where the good sushi is in Salt Lake. I don't have to do any guess and check. Bozette. Yeah, where's my Bozette bunny? See, I would be down, you know? She's just as funky as me. I tell you what. Starting to get too old for long hair. It's thin and breaks, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with it for months. Is there like a hairstyle that you've always wanted to try? That you want to like maybe one last hoorah? Like mohawk for a day? Or maybe like, I mean, I guess when your hair is thinning out, this is less of an exciting idea. But when I was young, I guess I'm still young, and I probably am not going to go bald anytime soon. So it's still kind of an appealing idea for me. But, you know, what if you just shaved the top and you did the tonsure, you know, like the monk, the weirdo haircut? I don't know if that's the right way to say that. No judgment, but it's not a haircut you see every day, right? Could you see me with like the straight Krusty the Clown? Like, I don't know. I think it would be fun once or twice, you know? Wow. So that tincture lit me up. I got really excited just now. Definitely leveled out at a 7. It's definitely on the downhill. It's probably like a 2 now or a 1. Very nice. Very clean. I liked that. I liked that a lot. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Good thing to live by. I do love me some Dr. Seuss, Jamie Palmer. I tell you what. Yeah, travel safe, Mary. And I don't imagine I'll miss your birthday, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I can't wait. I'm excited. I feel like the faux hawk, like I'm not opposed to it at all, but the gelling part of it, I think I'm opposed to. When I was in high school and middle school, I spiked my hair and I put a lot of gel in my hair, and I think that I think I'm over the gel. In fact, I've had short hair my whole life. I've only like this is I don't know. I guess I did cut it the one time because I let it get all knotted up. But since I grew my hair out, it's been growing ever since. And I have cut it a couple times, right? But like never short. Like I cut it back to the chin or something. A video with you vaping cost you a teaching job. Good Lord. Headmaster said I was breaching child protection legislation. That's definitely not in the US, I would wager then, right? Threatened if I didn't resign, he would tell regulation board I was not fit to teach. Oh my Lord. Somebody get this country some First Amendment rights, right? So I imagine people that aren't getting burned for stuff like this are just like hiding things, right? Right? Because that's some pretty normal stuff, eh? Am I wrong? Am I am I off base here? Those of you that live in places like this are like y'all just like life's got to be changing drastically, right? I got to be really, really aware of what I'm putting out there. You guys know China has, I shouldn't say that word, I guess it's too late, has a social credit score that's attached to what you can and can't do: travel, your wallet, your bank account, getting a job, having friends. Hanging out with someone that has a low social credit score will bring your credit score down, your social credit score. That's what we're headed for with these compelled speech legislations, with these stuff like this that Not Available is talking about. This is a very, very dangerous road that we're traveling towards. You know, free speech is very important. Freedom of the press is very important. We already literally don't, I mean, we kind of have that, but at the end of the day, the corporations are giving, you know, Fox News and this and that outlet money to paint a certain narrative. Like we kind of have freedom of the press, but not really. It's not what it was. None of it is what it was. I guess the free speech it is still pretty neat here in the US, especially reading stuff like this. I think to myself, I'm so grateful that that's not where we're at. But I have to say, it certainly seems like we're heading there, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like we're heading straight for the cliff with some momentum, with some speed on us? Are we going to be able to turn before the fall? Are we going to be able to hit the brakes? Are we going to have enough time? I don't know. This kind of stuff bums me out. I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy, but man, I think about this stuff all the time. I have never had a pompadour, Catalina, but I would kill for a pompadour and do like a king cosplay, like a Elvis cosplay. I don't know if cosplay is the right word. I'll just be Elvis for Halloween. Elvis on Sunday for fun. Yeah, Ben. Sadly, I think this plane is going into the ground. Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's going to make me cry a little bit. That's pretty funny. Just had pizzas delivered that you didn't order. Share some with me, Seventh. Dude, that's what happens when I wonder if they were like for your neighbor or something. I was going to say that's what happens when you do good things, but I would hate to encourage you to not check or something. I may need another tink to calm down. Look at you. Look at you and look at you. Is that what it does? I don't think it has calming powers at all. Over me, at least. It might just get me more excited. Thank you for saying that, Cinderella. Cinderella votes for the summer cut. All right, guys. Free pizza's good pizza, says Lord Kiss Freak. Interesting. Well, with the background in law, you probably are not super stoked on, the stuff that's going on. I mean, it's hard to deny the importance of free speech and protection thereof. I'm sick of looking at my gnarly hair. I think I'm just going to go, jump in the shower and then make some dinner, y'all. Let's hit the like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. Giving a shout out to our ripples. Carol at Needing a Meeting, Chris, conversations with Christy. I'm going to forget. I should write them down. It's a weird transition. Usually I shout out the ones and their times and when they're going on, and now the list has changed and we're not doing it that way anymore. So I'm going to have to make I'm just going to have to shout out all my friends basically. But yeah, show our... Is Tara tonight? I forget. She changes things so often. I know that tomorrow... Wait. Yeah, tonight, I believe, is meeting. I think we're having a meeting tonight, Ben. You guys are out of control. No. You're good, Brazy. You're the best. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Much love, guys. Yeah, and I will see you in the morning. I don't know if the Admiral's going to be on. If I were him, I would take the night off personally. He doesn't like to do that. I feel like if I test the wind, I think he's taking the night off. But yeah, much love, guys. We'll see you in the morning, all right?